Back, this is the rundown. Now, Thuli Mpshe, a former interim CEO of SAA, says the airline's ex-board chairperson, Dudu Myeni, wanted to cancel an Airbus deal because she felt it was too expensive. Mpshe is testifying in the court case to have Myeni declared a delinquent director. Now, the organization undoing tax abuse blames Myeni for bringing SAA to its knees. And Mpshe has previously testified at the state capture inquiry about Myeni instructing her to appoint people to senior positions without following proper procedures. Now, ENC's Heidi Jockers joins us live from, of course, court to give us more details. Heidi, good to have you. Now, did Mpshe's testimony corroborate at all what we heard from last week?
Most definitely, Tumelo. So what we are hearing from Thuli Mpshe, who was the interim CEO at SAA, just after Nico Besaidenout stepped down from that position, basically corroborating with what we heard last week from the witnesses who took the stand, where basically hearing where the former chairperson, Dudu Myeni, who was the chairperson at the time, exercised her power way too much and got involved when it came to certain procurement deals, when she should have not been involved in that. And the responsibility of the board is to make sure that there is oversight and not direct dealings when it comes to certain procurement deals. And this was heavily emphasized when it comes to an Airbus deal that Dudu Myeni said it's going to be too expensive, even though this deal was negotiated 15 years ago at the time. And she said an African leasing company rather needs to come into play to be part of this procurement deal that Dudu Myeni was pushing for. So we are hearing from Thuli Mpshe, who is basically corroborating with former witnesses who testified last week and the week before, to say that Dudu Myeni was not just acting as a chairperson of the SAA board, but rather she was taking on responsibilities that the CEO would ordinarily take. So that is something that we're hearing from, where Thuli Mpshe is saying that she had to deal with Dudu Myeni saying these things directly to her.
Now, of course, Heidi, let me come back to this African leasing company that you spoke about earlier on. It appears that Mpshe, of course, found that, Dudu Myeni was willing to have this company, coming on board without necessarily following proper processes.
Yes, and this is something that we have been hearing time and time again from witnesses, to say that no proper process was followed when certain procurement deals were done. And you are hearing the similar situation with this Airbus deal that was supposed to bring in over 1 billion rand for the airline, and that was, of course, cancelled when Dudu Myeni decided that an African leasing company should be brought in. But what was interesting was that Thuli Mpshe was saying that the reason why no African leasing company was brought in the first place was because there was no African leasing company that had the right expertise to deal with the kind of transactions that SAA was supposed to be involved in. And Dudu Myeni said one day, just randomly noted in a meeting, that in actual fact there was a company that she identified without a proper board resolution being taken. Let's perhaps just listen to what Thuli Mpshe had to say in court today.
There's no expertise in Africa, in the African continent, as far as the leasing capability is concerned. So to try and get a transaction advisor on this very complex contract and leasing agreement, for me, was superfluous. It was just continuing to waste time and just building something bigger out of nowhere, in my personal view. There was no need for a transactional advisor.
Well, the interim CEO, Thuli Mpshe, of course, reiterating what you just said about there being no need to have this African leasing company because there were no expertise that they've found in any of these African leasing company potentials. But Heidi, what can we expect then tomorrow?
So the case will carry on after lunch at about 2 o'clock with Thuli Mpshe. That will continue on the stand. And as soon as she's done with her testimony, it might be today or tomorrow, Dudu Myeni's legal team will then cross-examine her. Already he's raised an objection to say that certain documents that are being brought forward as evidence do not have dates, and that Dudu Myeni has notified her legal team to say that she has not signed off on those legal documents, and there should should not be brought in as legal evidence. So that will be brought to light by tomorrow, and it will Dudu Myeni's legal team will then cross-examine Thuli Mpshe.
All right. Our reporter Heidi Jockers, thank you so much.